Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Grebner Show. This is Scott Kerker, along with Metamora head coach Jared Grebner. Coach, a big game Friday night here at Malone Field. Homecoming. You had the induction in for some very deserving Hall of Fame candidates. Just a big night, big crowd. Just a great night here at Malone Field.
Atmosphere was great. Student section was great. It's one of the bigger student sections I can remember. They were loud. The crowd was into it. A lot of people come back to see, the 76 team get inducted, the 77 team get inducted. And so there's a lot of football players out there watching, their alma mater play on Malone Field. And we had some other very great athletes, with Angie Zimmerman-Poole, great coaches like Renee Gunther. They came back. And so it was good to see some familiar faces.
And some great teams that got inducted. I think it's 2003 tennis team, a volleyball team, 90 I believe it was, 82 softball team, and then the 76 and 77 Metamora football teams. Mm-hmm. It was a great night, and played a pretty formidable opponent in Dunlap.
Correct. Dunlap's always a tough team with their schemes, with their players. They're a disciplined program, and so we always have to be ready to go when we play them.
Yeah, it's always tough, and they know what you're going to do because they pretty much mirrored what we do. Teague Dentino's now over there as their defensive coordinator, so I'm sure that's a big influence. If it works for us, they probably figure it's going to work for them, and it has.
And there's times where they do some scheme things a little bit differently defensively, and that goes along with what kind of personnel they have, and we do the same thing with the type of personnel we have. You've seen Dunlap shift their offense a little bit in recent years to some more under center ground attack, where sometimes in the years past they've been shotgun reading teams, with some zone, with some counters and things like that. So some things have shifted just based on their personnel, but no matter what, they're always a tough task.
Yeah, they certainly are. Friday night you came out, you won the coin flip, you deferred. I love it when you defer because then our defense goes on defense first, and then you get the ball to start the second half. And I thought that was huge the other night because you held them 3 and out their first possession. They punted to us, and I think you went, about 75 yards in 3 plays?
Mm-hmm. We started off real well. It was actually 2 plays. The first one was to Hartnett on the pass play, and then Connor pulled
I thought
it
there was
and ran.
A Petrie run in between there.
It was only on two plays, and then Connor on that second run ended up scoring with some great blocks by the O-linemen, even by the perimeter players. But it was good for the defense to come out and set the tone. Going back to last year, them winning the coin toss actually played a huge role because they were always kicking with the wind and things like that. And this week, we were able to win the coin toss. We deferred. We're able to kick with the wind and pin them deep. And that was one of our goals, is to get our offense good field position from the start. And they were able to capitalize.
First half, 6 for 6 passing for I believe 84 yards, something like that.
It was somewhere around there.
And that really, you didn't throw the ball a lot. Tremendously effective, because then that started opening up those lanes for Petrie and Connor, and then Garrett Taylor also. You gave them those lanes to run through, and man, at times those open lanes, I think Daryl Galandri could have run through some of those holes.
The offensive line did a tremendous job. One area that we improved on tremendously was our downfield blocking, whether it was the perimeter with the wide receivers, whether it was our tight ends, but you could really tell our tackles, our guards, our centers, it wasn't just at the line of scrimmage. They just kept attacking, and they're 5, 10, 15 yards down the field, and when we got tackled, they were right there to help them up, and they were with us the entire way. It was
really fun to watch. I got to do the game the first time I've ever done it from the sideline, as a sideline reporter, and that was a whole new experience for me because I've normally been up here. we did some adjusting around with some of the guys. We had we had Colton Kaler and Ryan Vogel do the play-by-play. They did a fantastic job. And I was down on the field. I didn't realize how loud it was. And, I do the chains at the freshman and the sophomore games, and there's some pretty good pops. There were some really good pops Friday night.
It was, the players, they came out excited. And Dunlap, they were going to match our intensity. And we were fortunate to come out and, get the victory.
It was amazing, just how well your team was. The only time they stopped us was when you got the ball back with like about 30 seconds to go in the half, and basically just kind of ran the clock out and went in at halftime with a 22-7 lead. And I thought, that first half probably couldn't have gone a whole lot better for you.
Yeah, we were getting some chunk plays there, and there at the end of the half, we were going to take some shots, and see what we could get. And then on the very first play, we had that bobbled snap that we had to fall on. And so from there on, we just decided, all right, we got a 22-7 lead. Let's not take any chances. Let's go into halftime. We knew we were going to get the ball to start the second half. And let's just kind of regroup and come out firing on all cylinders in the second half.
It's tough at the high school level when you come out and you're playing with that kind of emotion. You have that kind of success to match that the second half. But your kids did.
And these kids just love to play football. They love to play the game. They love to play for each other. And, no one ever wants to come off the field, no matter what the score is. And just because they love to compete. They compete in practice. They compete in the games, as you can see. But they want to take advantage of every moment they have out there.
I thought it was really fun to watch. You came out, and you want to come out, ideally come out and send a message that, okay, we're going to pick up right where we left off. They had a little bit of momentum, maybe a little bit of life when they scored that touchdown right before halftime on a 4th and about 4.
Yeah.
So they had a little bit. But you took all hopes of a comeback right away that first drive, because you went downfield in about 3 or 4 plays, and you went up, I think it was 30-7.
Correct. And whenever, for some reason, you always feel a little bit better when you're up 3 scores.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of puts you at ease a little bit. And so that was a huge drive. And then to get another stop, and then to be able to do it again, the kids kept rolling. And we talk about, as a team, it's okay to be greedy sometimes, to come out there and get another score, get another stop, and they came out and did just that.
And then what I thought was, you had so many big plays, but I thought one of the really big plays that just kind of put an exclamation point on the whole game was when Dunlap had the ball, and they were trying to get back into the game, and Garrett Taylor intercepted a pass right in front of their bench, and then beat their entire team to this sideline, because it was over on the other side. He ran all the way across the field, picked up some really nice blocks, and then put a move on it about the 3-yard line on the last player for Dunlap that had a chance to tackle him. It was a nice move, and basically went in untouched.
And playing outside linebacker for Garrett, it's a new position this year for him, and he's been working extremely hard to pick everything up, and week by week he just keeps growing at that position. And that was one thing that we kept emphasizing this week, is getting underneath some of those routes. And boy, that practice sure did pay off. And then after he was able to pick that, watching film, kind of go back, he's just so long and rangy. All of a sudden he kind of had those go gadget arms. They went up there, and as he leaped. And then all the other guys, it's almost like they set up a punt return wall.
It did.
And and he was able to find that wall, get behind it, and then the rest was history. He was able to get in the end zone.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, and man, it showed a lot of speed. And then you got Aiden Rice got another touchdown.
And that was really impressive. I thought maybe he was going to get knocked out of bounds by about like the 10-15 yard line.
No.
And man, he just had a burst of energy, and he wasn't going to be denied that end zone.
And then he got in, scored the last touchdown of the game for us, and he went up 45-7, and it was 45-7 at the time. They scored a touchdown late, made it 45-14 for the final score. Kind of set a little bit of a message to the rest of the conference, didn't it?
We just take it one game at a time. We just take what's in front of us. We knew at that time that we just had Dunlap to worry about. This week we have Morton to worry about, and that's all. That's where all of our effort's going to be. But the Middle Illini, like we've always said, you don't never know what's going to happen on a Friday night. You're always going to have tough teams in front of you. All the teams are well coached, and we have some great talent around the Middle Illini. And so that night we knew we had one task at hand, and this coming week we're going to have another big test.
Coming up, Morton, a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde with them. They knocked off Pekin and then kind of got it handed to them a little bit last week when they played Washington. They got beat 35-14. It was a very close game, and in that last probably 8 minutes of the game, things just kind of got away from them. It probably was a little bit closer than what the score indicated.
Glatz, he's a tremendous running back. I mean, you give him a seam, he's gone. And he's a very strong runner. He's a very shifty runner, and we're going to have to fit correctly with that Washington game. It's tied up at 14-14. Washington scores again, and Morton has a chance to go down and tie it up. And Washington had a timely interception return for a touchdown that kind of started to cement things and turn the tide a little bit. But that Morton team, they don't quit. They've played some tough opponents this year, and on any given night, anybody can beat anyone in the Middle Illini, and we're going to have a tough team ahead of us. Some tough players, some very talented players, and we're going to have to be ready to go.
Yeah, I think so too. I think on any given night, anybody can beat anyone. I think you've kind of started to separate yourselves a little bit from the conference. Definitely, people are noticing what you guys are doing, and that's a good thing. But you still are probably a little bit in the woods a little bit. People I don't know if they take us seriously or not, but they're probably going to have to start at some point here, aren't they?
You would hope so. These kids have worked really hard. They have a lot of goals that they want to attain, and every day at practice they're trying to reach those goals as a team. And this week we have another opportunity to help us achieve some of those.
I thought the other night, and it's been kind of a theme this whole year, is that you've got two distinctly different running backs in Garrett Taylor and in Ethan Petrie. And with Ethan Petrie, he comes out in that first half, and he just starts. It's like a battering ram. He just keeps pounding and pounding. And the other night, their players are just getting blown off the ball, and then they'd have to try and step up and tackle. And that's 225, 230 pounds coming at him at a running start, and he's not getting touched until he's 6-7 yards down the field. By the third quarter, their DBs didn't want to have any part of it.
That's one good thing about having a versatile offense. Whether it's Ethan running the ball, whether it's Garrett running the ball, whether it's Connor using his legs or his arms, because because we can find TJ, Solomon, Caden, Noah. We have a lot of perimeter players that can come in and do the job, and to be able to utilize those weapons, spread the field, and then be able to have running backs like Ethan and Garrett to give them different types of looks. It's just a blessing to have all of them.
It is awfully nice, and this was probably the first game this year that you kind of had to lean on Connor Willerton in the ground game. Up until now, he's been pretty much just the kind of a facilitator, passing the ball, handing the ball off, getting guys in the right spots. That's just another weapon that the rest of the conference is going to have to contend with.
It's always hard to, compete with a running quarterback, because it just gives you an added dimension,
right?
As opposed to just handing the ball off or just throwing the ball, because they kind of create an extra gap that you have to be responsible for on defense. And as the season goes along and as we progress, we'll throw in a wrinkle here or there. You know, Coach Delinsky, Coach Otto, and those guys, they come up with just a little wrinkle, not much, and just to take advantage of what the defense has given us.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the other night it looked like you broke out a little bit of option.
We have a little bit of that in there. It doesn't deviate from our blocking schemes too much, but we do have something very similar to that, where all the running backs and quarterbacks, they feel comfortable doing it, and it's just another weapon for us to utilize.
And Connor ran it, flawlessly. He faked the pitch to, I believe it was Garrett Taylor he was the pitch man, and they kind of went over to him, and then he got, about a 35-yard gain down to about the 40-yard line. Yeah. It was a nice play.
They're always nice when they work.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. But that's just another wrinkle where we can get to the perimeter, try and get other people involved. And so it happened to work out that way. And, every single week we'll just try and take advantage of what the defense has given us.
You go to 5-0. You're 3-0 in the Mid-Atlantic Conference. Your JV team last Monday had a little bit of a setback. They played a very good Peoria High School JV team, but played them tough. Played them awfully hard. Thought it was a really good game, and I thought there were more positives in that loss than if you'd have played somebody who was not very good and gotten a win.
And we learned from some of our mistakes that we made. So that's one good thing. Sometimes it's, you don't want to get in the habit of coasting or anything like that, where you can get by with missed assignment here or missed assignment there, because Peoria High, a good program like that, they'll make you pay. And so going into the rest of the Mid-Atlantic Conference for the JV team, we'll learn, we'll bounce back, and tomorrow night versus Dunlap, hopefully we can get those corrected and come out with another W.
I believe you get Gavin O'Loughlin back this week. Mm-hmm. Another athlete, another weapon, mm-hmm. And that's always a plus.
You can't replace athletes, and when you have a guy like Gavin go down, he's chomping at the bit to get back out there. It's always unfortunate to see anybody get injured, but he's glad to be back. Everybody's glad to have him back, and it's just another weapon on the field.
Yeah, it's true, and it's awfully nice. And then you've got a little bit of a vested interest in the freshman program, and mm-hmm. I thought they had a really nice business-like victory the other night over Dunlap.
I get to see bits and pieces. I got to watch most of the first half, and it was a back and forth game in the first half. They were able to take advantage of a fumble early in the game on Dunlap's first drive, and we capitalized on a couple fourth down plays to go up 7-0, and then Dunlap scores. Didn't get the extra point, and so it's 7-6, and that's what it stayed until halftime. I didn't get to see much of the second half, but coming back out, it was nice to see that we were up 23-6, I believe, when I came back out, and so the defense must have put together a great effort in order to keep them out of the end zone until I think it was maybe the last 30 to 40 seconds of the game when they got back in the end zone. And so to come out with a victory for them and to keep them rolling, it's another good shot in the arm for the program.
They've got some skill players, and their linemen, I think, are going to be pretty good down the road. There's some talent there.
And it's nice to see those guys grow every single week. Mm-hmm. We have some players that it's their first time ever putting on pads, putting on a helmet, and so things are new to them. And so coming back out every single game and seeing them improve, seeing them get more comfortable with their roles is always nice to see.
There was a play in that freshman game. I do the chain, so I was right there. They were on about our 30-yard line, and they ran a double reverse, and the kid came back around as their backup quarterback, and he threw a pass into the end zone, and the Metamore defender was right there with the receiver, and went up and just knocked it away. And their one coach said, he goes, that play has worked every time they've run it this year. That's the first time it's been defended.
Coach Kurt and Coach Luke, they've done a tremendous job with those guys and getting them ready for every single game. And those guys keep working hard, and it's paying off on the field. Yeah,
they're starting to really play pretty well, and they're going to have to keep playing the teeth of their schedule, just like yours, and just like the JV team that's coming up.
Mm-hmm. And we'll just keep getting back to work, seeing where the next step is going to take us, and hopefully, with a little luck, we'll come out on top.
It's nice to be 5-0, though, isn't it?
We'll take it right now. We couldn't ask for anything more.
And the 3-0 in the Mid-Illini Conference, and now people are kind of looking up at you.
Right now, we're kind of in a position where, with each week, we kind of hold our own destiny. We're whether we're in the driver's seat, things kind of depend on us. We have to handle business on our end, and we have one more hurdle this week in order to kind of achieve some of our goals and to hopefully be conference champions at the end of the year. But we have Morton in front of us this week, and we'll see how it all unfolds.
Well, Coach, congratulations. It's been a great ride so far, and it's going to get a lot more exciting.
We hope so. These players, like I've mentioned many times, they've worked hard, and they deserve everything that they get out on that field because they put in the time, and it's all about them.
Well, it's fun to watch, and it's got a lot more people now that are really getting excited again about Metamore football.
The crowds have been amazing. They bring a lot of energy to the game. They provide a lot of juice for us, and we just like to go out there and try and perform our best for the community and to make everyone proud.
Well, Coach, congratulations. 5-0, you're 3-0 in the Mid-Illini Conference. Big game Friday night.
We'll be looking forward to it. Hopefully we have another big crowd over there in Morton. I'm sure we will. Our crowd never disappoints. Our student section never disappoints, and so we're just looking forward to another good challenge.
Well, that'll do it for the Jared Grebner Show. We'll see you Friday night in Morton.